For my research project, I did it on Commedia dell'arte. It was during the Italian Renaissance, and while there is no clear indication on its full origins, the earliest recorded Commedia performance was in Rome during the 16th century. Its main incorporation were half masks that usually covered the top part of the face or gave the performer a little bit of a feature that accentuated their character and made the character them. It was mainly performed in the market squares where they would have a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people would be able to see their performance. They used very simple staging, wooden scaffolding about 6 feet above the stage, where's the curtains, and the curtains would usually have a painted, urban-looking backdrop, which would kind of accentuate how this was regular performance. And it was supposed to be there. And also during this time, the church was saying that all manners of theater were evil and sinful, so they would not stay in one place for too long. Once they got enough money, they would go out, leave that city to try and spread their art, their performance. And this was a very physical type of theater. There was a lot of acrobatics, a lot of hitting, and a lot of just general movement that made it unique. And there is also special hierarchy in Commedia, with Magnifico being at the top and another character and Zani being at the bottom, as shown here. Zani would be the lowest of the low. He would be the servant of everybody. He would be if anybody didn't want to do anything, Zani was the person they would call. And just above Zani would be Capitan, who was a military person, but he was an outsider, so he was not as well respected as a citizen of the town that they were in would be. Then above Capitan would be Regela and Arlecchino. Arlecchino is a very big character. He is very acrobatic, he jumps around a lot, he is very multiple track minded, he easily gets sidetracked, and Regela is the exact opposite. She would be very stern, very strict, very to the point. She did not take anything from anybody. And then above Regela and Arlecchino would be Colombina, who is the person that Arlecchino is in love with, and she has a connection to each and every character that is in the hierarchy. She was very sassy. And then you have Pantalone and Dittore. Pantalone is a very rich miser who was and he kept to himself and his money. Dittore wanted to be the smartest person in the room, but he ended up knowing next to nothing, and he just tried to act like he did. And then you have the witch, which is pretty self-explanatory. We all know what a witch is. And then you have the lovers, who would be either the son and daughter, and one the son and one the daughter of Pantalone and Dittore, and they would try to keep the lovers apart as much as they could. And then at the very, very top, you have Magnifico, who was the head honcho. He was the person in charge of the entire thing. And the next is the costuming. They had very, very, very unique costumes. They were each identifiable by what their character looked like. For example, Arlecchino was dressed in very colorful diamonds from his waist down to his feet, and he had a hat which usually had a feather in it, and he had a slapstick which was used to emphasize a joke or a point. If you hit something, it would make a loud clapping sound. And then you had Pantalone, who wore red tights and red pants. and a black cape to go along with that. And also he also had a codpiece to kind of accentuate himself and make him more apparent. He also what would be known as a beanie or a skull cap over his head to look more eccentric. And next we have Dottore, who wore all black save for a white neck around his neck and a handkerchief that would hang at his side. And these were some of the most well-known costumes and the most identifiable in Commedia. Next are the masks. The key point to any Commedia character was their masks. So as you can see right here, we have Pantalone, who had a very hooked nose and a mask that accentuated bone features to make the mask more prominent. Usually the mask would have some sort of mustache or eyebrows that would make it fuller, or in some cases they would have a beard that went out. Next we have Arlecchino's mask, which is supposed to resemble a cat to match his cat-like trickery and slickness. He was supposed to be tricky, always moving, always light on his feet. He would never stay in one place for too long. And another mask would be Dottore, who it covered his forehead and went down to right here, and it left his cheeks open because Dottore liked to drink. So the actor would use blush to kind of show that and accentuate that fact. That's why I said that the mask helped the character define who he was and how he acted. And next would be my theater convention, which would be a Lazzi, which would be the movement of Arlecchino and Pantalone, and to show how much they contrasted. Arlecchino would always have his body bent like so, like a spring. He was always ready to move and jump. He leads with his mask. His feet would be up here. His heels would never touch the floor, hence because he needs to move around like that. He has a slapstick, which emphasizes the point when you hit it, or a joke. And he is in love with Columbina more than anything. And the only thing that could rival his love for Columbina is his love for food. He is always thinking about where he can get his next meal from, how he can pay for it, whichever he can get, how he can get it, where it might be. And in contrast to that, Pantalone is an old man, so he would be really hunched over, and he shuffles across the stage like with very small steps, like so. He would have one arm behind him and another hand close to his chest to keep his money safe, because like people say, old people and misers keep their money close to the chest so they keep a good eye on it. His knees are always bent and his hands are always moving to accentuate a point, much like Arlecchino's slapstick. And as you can see, the beard right there also accentuates as, hey, I am an old man, I am very knowledgeable. Hence, because he's very knowledgeable, he is ironically most easily tricked, and he's very gullible. My moment of theater will be a Lazzi, which comes from the Italian word lazzo, which means joke. It would be used as like a short interlude during a show, or used to keep pace for the show. Most of them were improv, but there were some that the actors had memorized to kind of help the pace of the show. Like one of them that comes to mind would be when Arlecchino gets scared while he's drinking something. He does a complete back tuck without any water coming from the cup, not a drop spilled. And for the Lazzi to be a Lazzi, it would need 2 or more masks. So it would kind of flow through with the actual show, make it more prominent. my demonstration is a lot scene known as lottery ticket, where Arlecchino is walking through the streets and he finds a lottery ticket, and he's so happy he can take Columbina out for dinner, and so he's running away. He drops it accidentally, and Pantalone finds it and tries to keep it for himself. And Arlecchino would enter on stage like so. Ooh, I can finally, what can I do? Where's my food? What's this? Is this a lottery ticket? Yes, my lucky day! Oh, I can take Columbine out. Oh, I can take her out to that new restaurant. Yes! And then Pantalone would come on stage from here, and he would just be walking through, just like, what can I do for oh, what's this? A lottery ticket. This would be very, very nice. Whoever lost this must be a sucker. And then at this point, Arlecchino would come back on stage because he realized he lost his ticket. He would come on just like, where is it? I know I left it somewhere. Oh, sir, have you seen the lottery ticket anywhere? Pantalone wanted to keep the money for himself. He would deny ever seeing. It's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have never, ever seen a lottery ticket. And then Arlecchino, while not being the brightest, he is not dumb. He could possibly see the lottery ticket being clutched to Pantalone's chest, like so. So it's like, but sir, what's that right there? It's nothing at all. And Arlecchino tries to devise a way he can trick Pantalone out of it. Like so. Well, anyway, the ticket was a loser anyway. Who would even want that? I was gonna use it for kindling. And upon hearing this bad news, Pantalone would be so distressed, like his character is, he would fall back like a dead roach. What? A loser, you say? Oh my gosh. But he cannot get up on his own. So help me. Oh, of course, sir. Oh, there you go. Thank you. You know, I think I did see a piece of paper, and wanting to kind of save face, he would drop the lottery tickets like, oh, there it is, right there. Oh, why, thank you so much, sir. I'm so happy. And then he might try and hug Pantalone. Is like, get off me, get off me. I was like, okay, sorry. And then he would run and grab it, and he would start jumping happily, like, oh my gosh, I did it, I have money to take her out now, yippee! And he would run, and then Arlecchino would run off stage to cash it in to get the money to take out Columbina. And what I learned from this was to be more animated while I would be performing anything like this, because now I have to usually rely more on vocals than anything to accentuate the characters that I'm playing and everything else that I need to do. And I also gained a stronger appreciation towards the characters and how much they do. And this would be the end of my presentation. Thank you.